Hey guys, and welcome to another publisher ARC haul. These are all advanced readers copies that I've received from publishers, and I thank them very much for everything they've given to me. I'm going to be doing reviews of everything you see in here. I've done reviews of some of them already. I've read some of them already, and I'll let you know which ones those are. I'll probably start with those. But these are all the ones that I've gotten throughout September and October. I don't think I'll be getting any more anytime soon. I do it in batches. I just send a ton of emails to publishers all at once and just all at the same time and ask for stuff all at the same time and just let it come over the next few weeks after that. And that's kind of what happened here. I just sent out a batch and got a batch of books in, and I'm going to show them to you. This is everything that I think I'm interested in reading arc-wise through the end of the year. I will probably start requesting stuff for next year in like December or something, so maybe I'll have another arc haul in December. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. But this is everything that I've gotten in September and October. So the first things that I'll show you are things that I've already read, and the first one is Here I Am by Jonathan Safran Foer. So this one I did a full review on already. You should go check that out if you have not already. This is his first book in quite a while, and I've reviewed his other two books on this channel. They're two of the first videos I made on this channel for Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close and Everything is Illuminated. I read those both back to back, and I really liked this one in a lot of ways and really didn't like it in a lot of ways. I was kind of in the middle, but more leaning towards liking it. And I think it's just because I like his writing style. I love the way he writes dialogue, and I just love the emotion he brings into the characters and the dialogue and the writing itself, and just the events and the experiences that these characters go through. Like I said in my review, it's kind of a flawed book, but I did enjoy it, and it's got some very human things to it that I think really just spoke to me and would speak to a lot of people if they decided to give it a shot. So if you want to know more of my thoughts on that, definitely go check out the review, because I talk quite a bit more about it there. And then the next book is Revenger by Alastair Reynolds. This is published by Golans, and I was sent this by Stevie from the booktube channel Sableclot. I emailed Golans their publicist email, and Stevie's the one that answered, and she was nice enough to get this to me, and I was very excited to read this. I didn't like it quite as much as I was hoping to, but I did like it, and I think it was a fun ride, and I'm kind of in the middle with how I feel about it. The review for this one should be out already by the time you see this video, so go watch my full thoughts on that. It's space pirates. It's these two sisters who get to go on an adventure on a space pirate ship, basically, that go searching for loot and these just so much weird technology. It's very mystical. I use that word a lot when referring to this. It's got this weird supernatural fantasy science fiction vibe to it, but it's just so far future that the fantasy elements of it feel also like scientific things, like real technology has advanced so much that it's gotten to that point. But I do recommend you go watch that review for more thoughts, because I tell you more about why I did like certain bits and why I didn't like certain bits. The next book that I've already finished is Ghost Talkers by Mary Robinette Kowal. I don't think the review for this one will be out when this one is out. I think this video will go out first before this one, but I have already filmed the review for this. I liked this book a lot. Her writing is fantastic. Her characters are great, especially the main character, Ginger. This involves a spirit corpse in the British Army during World War I. So these soldiers in World War I in the British Army are trained to report back in when they've been killed. So when they're killed, they go and talk to these mediums in the spirit corps, in the spiritualist group. And Ginger is one of these mediums, and she has to deal with all of these deceased soldiers as they tell her what happened to them and give her any information that might help them fight the Germans. And then they also get to kind of give any last thoughts to their loved ones, and the mediums will make sure that those last thoughts, those last words will get to the loved ones that they specified that they're for. So anyway, it's a really good book. It's got some mysteries in it, and I mean, I didn't quite think that the plot twists were really all that great. Like I feel like I could predict a lot of stuff that happened in this. It was predictable, but despite being predictable, it was very fun to read, and I do recommend it. It was very, very fun. So that was sent to me by Tor, and I'll keep going with the Tor stuff. So the book that I'm actually reading right now, and you'll have seen this in a currently reading video the other day that I posted, is Red Right Hand by Levi Black. I'm a bit iffy on how I feel in this one at the moment, at the moment of filming this, but who knows, maybe I'll end up really liking it. So it's like a horror thriller at this point. I'm pretty sure that's like where it's going to be, is a horror thriller. And it's got like Lovecraftian written all over it. I haven't quite seen that come into it yet. Maybe I'll see that come into it more later. but it's basically this woman named Charlie is she comes home one night and she gets attacked by these 3 like demon dogs, and this guy, and a man in black, comes and saves her. He has a red right hand and he has like this black sword, and she becomes like an acolyte for him. So it's a cool idea, and I'm hoping to finish this very soon, and you'll see a review of that. So another book I got from Tor is Everfair by Nisi Shaw, an alternate history, Victorian alternate history kind of thing with steampunk elements in it. So it's like, so Belgium was trying to colonize the Congo, and so this is about if the people of the Congo had steampunk technology. And so it sounds super interesting. I don't want to learn too much more about that. That's like the premise, the main like parts of the premise that inspired me to ask for it. So I'm really glad that I got it. I'm hoping to like it. I've heard mixed things so far, but I am hoping to enjoy it, and we'll see. And you'll obviously see that pretty soon in a review, since I'm going to be getting into it this week, as I mentioned in my currently reading video the other day. So let's keep it going again with Tor. I have several books from Tor. Tor has been very nice to me. And so actually when the publicist sent me Red Right Hand, she told me that she was going to include these as well. She didn't ask. She was just like, I put these other 2 books in this package for you. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. So they are the first book and the second book in a series, or at least they're the first book and a sequel. So it's The Unnoticeables by Robert Brockway. So Robert Brockway is the senior editor of Cracked.com. And I don't know if you know that website, but it's a comedy website. From what I can tell, this is like a horror comedy kind of thing. And like I didn't really go into this. I didn't ask for this, so I didn't know what it was about. But here, I'll just read the back for you, since I can't really explain it myself. They are angels, and they are not beneficent or loving. They do watch over us. They watch our lives unfold, analyzing us for repeating patterns and redundancies. When they find them, the angels simplify those patterns and remove the redundancies, and the problem that is you gets solved. Carrie doesn't much like that idea. As a punk living in New York City in 1977, Carrie is sick and tired of watching strange kids with unnoticeable faces abduct his friends. He doesn't care about the rumors of tar monsters in the sewers or unkillable psychopaths invading the punk scene. So, punk scene in 1977, New York, with angels and horror and comedy. So sounds interesting. So then the next one is The Empty Ones. So this one, I'm pretty sure it came out last year, but maybe the paperback just got released. That's why she sent me the paperback, and then she sent me the second one, which just got released in hardback in August, I believe. So Empty Ones by Robert Brockway and The Unnoticeables by Robert Brockway. They're pretty great covers, and I'm definitely going to read them and see what I think and do reviews on them. They're already in my schedule to be reviewed. So the next 3 books that I got from Tor are all in the same series. It's a trilogy, and you'll recognize these from another haul I did recently. So I asked for the last book in this trilogy. I didn't realize that they're also going to send me the first 2 books in the trilogy, and I really appreciate them doing that very, very much. It was really cool of them, but I had already bought them from the book outlet. So it is The 3-Body Problem and The Dark Forest and Death's End, all by Xian Liu. And I'm really happy to have multiples, because that means I can do giveaways. I'm not going to do it right now, so don't comment asking about a giveaway right now. When I do reviews for these, I will do a giveaway of the first 2 books, because I bought the first 2 books. So I had the first 2 books already, so I will also do a giveaway of the first 2 books when those reviews come out. So look out for those reviews. Don't know exactly when they'll be out, but within the next month or so, I'm assuming. So yeah, there we go. 3-Body Problem and Dark Forest and Death's End, which are all very beautiful. I love the covers on these. I love the spines. I love how all the spines go together. They're just really well designed, and I've heard some good things about it. I did talk about the series a little bit in my book outlet haul, so I won't talk about them too much here, but basically it's about this virtual reality game called 3-Body Problem. Has something to do with aliens. Sounds very fun. I've heard mixed things, but I'm looking forward to getting into the series. So, and then the next 2 books that I got, one, it's the same situation where I asked for one and the publicist kind of included the other, but I'm actually really excited about both of these. Now that I've looked into the other one that the publicist sent me, I'm interested in that one too. So the Ferryman Institute is this first one that I asked for, by Colin Geigel. I think that's how he pronounces his name. It's about a ferryman named Charlie who helps people into the afterlife. He has to kind of convince them to go into the afterlife, and it's really driving him mad. And that's really all I needed to hear to ask for this one. I don't want to know any more about it going in, and so I'll be doing a full review of this obviously when I get to it. This one is one that I'm really anticipating getting to soon. I think I'd like to get to it before October is out, so hopefully that'll be out soon. I think this one just sounds really fun, and it's a debut novel by Colin Geigel, so hopefully it's good. And then along with that one, the publicist sent me Dead Souls by J. Lincoln Fenn. So this is horror mystery detective kind of thing, which sounds right up my alley. Got a really beautiful cover. I don't know why, I just really like the cover a lot. But this is another one that I'm really hoping to get to before October is out. So it says, when Fiona Dunn is approached in a bar by a man who claims he's the devil, she figures it's just some kind of postmodern / ironic pickup line. But a few drinks in, he offers her a wish in exchange for her immortal soul. And in addition, Fiona must perform a special favor for him whenever the time comes. Fiona finds the entire matter so absurd that she agrees. Bad idea. Not only does Fiona soon discover that she really was talking to a devil incarnate, but she's now been initiated into a bizarre support group of similar dead souls, those who have done the same thing as Fiona on a whim, and who must spend their waking hours in absolute terror of that favor eventually being called in, and what exactly is required from each of them in order to give the devil his due. Okay, so maybe it doesn't have, I'm not sure, it doesn't really say, but it maybe doesn't have like a detective aspect to it. I was just going off of what I looked up at it online, so I guess it's just a mystery horror thriller kind of thing, but it still sounds interesting. And if you know anything about it, if you've read it at all, it just came out, I believe, let's see, I think I have the date here, it just came out on September 29th, so if you've somehow come across it and read it, I'd love to know what you think about it. Go ahead and tell me about it. But I'm going to be trying to read that before October is out, like I said. So, and then the next 2 books is another situation where I asked for 1 book and the publicist sent me a second book as well. And the book they sent me that I didn't ask for is like 5 times or 6 times as long as the one I asked for. So the one I asked for was this reprinting of Lev Grossman's Warp. So this was his first book before the Magicians trilogy, and apparently it was like his first kind of spark for the Magicians trilogy and for Quentin, the main character. So it's super short. I'm hoping to get to it as soon as I possibly can. I actually don't know too much about it, and I don't want to say too much about it just because I kind of want to go in without too many expectations, because I've had some really bad reviews on Goodreads. It has some really bad reviews on Goodreads, and it's really interesting to me that they reprinted it. So hopefully I enjoyed it in some level. And then this book that they sent to me as well is called Moon Chosen by PC Cast, and is Tales of a New World. And so this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to it. I haven't put it in my review list yet, in my review schedule. But if I have time when I'm done with all this other stuff, if I can put the time in to read this one and do a review of it, I will. I'll give it a shot. It's a very shiny cover, if you can see that at all. Let's see. What can I say about this? Well, there's a sheet. Okay. All right. So this one actually doesn't come out until October 18th. So it may be out. I think by the time I post this, it would have come out yesterday. So yesterday. Okay. So it came out October 18th. So it literally very, very new. And so Mary is an Earthwalker, heir to the unique healing powers of her clan, but she has cast her duties aside until she is chosen by a special animal ally, altering her destiny forever. When a deadly attack tears her world apart, Mary reveals the strength of her powers and the forbidden secret of her dual nature as she embarks on a mission to save her people. It is not until Nick, the son of a leader from a rival-dominating clan, strays across her path that Mary experiences something she has never felt before. Okay, so down here it says, with a fantastic storyline, fascinating protagonist, and swoon-worthy love story, Moon Chosen is sure to hit all of the sweet spots that readers love. So we'll see. We'll give it a shot. I don't know. We'll give it a shot. We'll see. And the last book I actually just got the other day. I'm so happy I was sent this. This is one that I was anticipating more than a lot of the other ones. And I wasn't sure if I was going to get it because it took a really long time to get here. But I'm guessing that was just because it doesn't come out until November. And so it's in my review schedule to be read actually before the day that it comes out. So I can actually get a review out the day that it comes out. So anyway, The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington, and it is part of the Licanius trilogy, so it's going to be a trilogy. It's quite a big book. I'm pretty sure this is a debut, and it was published before. I don't entirely know the story behind that and why it's being republished. It was just published in 2014, and now it's being republished by, I guess it's just being republished in America, as well as the UK, by Orbit, and so Orbit was nice enough to send this to me, and it sounds so good. It's being constantly compared to Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson, which piqued my interest especially, and this is a debut novel, and it's gotten really good reviews for such a thick epic fantasy debut novel like this. It's really just piqued my interest quite a bit, and I'll just read the front flap for you. As destiny calls, a journey begins. It has been 20 years since the godlike augurs were overthrown and killed. Now those who once served them, the gifted, are spared only because they have accepted the rebellion's four tenets, vastly limiting their own powers. As a gifted, Davian suffers the consequences of a war lost before he was even born. He and others like him are despised, but when Davian discovers he wields the forbidden power of the augurs, he sets into motion a chain of events that will change everything. To the west, a young man whose fate is intertwined with Davian's wakes up in the forest, covered in blood and with no memory of who he is, and in the far north, an ancient enemy, long thought defeated, begins to stir. So, and also just the cover kind of pulled me in quite a bit. I love this cover. This artist is fantastic, and I really like just the way this is published a lot. I love the way, the presentation that it has. Anyway, it sounds good, it looks good, and I'm definitely interested in seeing if I like it, and I've heard good things about it, so hoping to do a review of that one before it comes out at the beginning of November. I believe it comes out November 8th. It didn't come with a sell sheet, so I don't remember entirely off the top of my head what day it comes out, but it's at the beginning of November, and yeah, looks awesome. So, and the last two books are just like little honorable mentions. They're both gigantic, and I didn't get them from publishers, but Steve got them from publishers, and he had duplicates of both, so he gave me one of each of his duplicates, and I'm really happy because I requested this one, Jerusalem by Alan Moore, from the publisher, but I did so like after it had already been published, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, and I didn't, so he gave me one of his copies, and I'm going to read it and give it a shot. It's really heavy, really thick, and apparently kind of dense, just crazy in general. It is in my review schedule now, so I'll give it a shot. I'll read it and see what I think about it. The very last book in this is this beautiful thing here, the Big Book of Science Fiction. It's a giant book of science fiction stories, science fiction short stories, and it's got tons of authors in it, tons of different short stories in it. It's edited by Anne and Jeff Vandermeer, and oh man, I love this already. I'm so happy to have this. I've read a few of the short stories already, and I can't wait to read all of them. It's going to take a really long time. It's really thick. It's just really beautiful, thick, floppy paperback, and it's going to take a long time to get through, but I'm excited about it. This is one of my new favorite things. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. That is everything that I've gotten from publishers over the last month or so. And yeah, if you guys are interested in anything that I showed today, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear what you're most interested in, what you're looking forward to seeing reviews on, or what you're looking forward to reading yourself. And a lot of these books have already come out. I'm a little bit late to some of them, but some of them haven't. If you're looking forward to getting into some of those that haven't, I would love to hear about it. And if you've already gotten yourself into some of the ones that have already come out, I'd love to hear about that as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later with more.